Okay, our main claim topic is the U.S. should lower the minimum drinking age to 18. After Prohibition, nearly all states restricting youth access to alcohol designated 21 as the minimum legal drinking age, or the MLDA. Between 1970 and 1975, however, 29 states lowered the MLDA to 18, 19, or 20. These changes occurred when the minimum age for other activities such as voting also were lowered. Because of such advocacy campaigns, 16 states increased their MLDAs between September 1976 and January 1983. Resistance from other states and concern that minors would travel across state lines to purchase and consume alcohol prompted the federal government in 1984 to enact the Uniform Drinking Age Act, which mandated reduced federal transportation funds to those states that did not raise the MLDA to 21. By lowering the drinking age to 18, teens in America will develop a better sense of responsibility and a better understanding of how not to abuse alcohol. The higher drinking age causes college-age students to drink more irresponsibly. Dr. Ruth Ings, who is a professor of applied health sciences at Indiana University, said that after the drinking age had been increased to 21 in 1987, the number of students who reported vomiting after drinking had gone up from 46% to over 50%. Other variables such as cutting class after drinking jumped from 9% to almost 12%. Missing class because of hangover went from 26% to 28%. Getting lower grades because of drinking rose from 5% to 7%. And been in a fight after drinking increased from 12 to 17%. All of these behaviors are indicative of irresponsible drinking. Alcohol statistics in Europe say that teens coming from homes that had no alcohol and were not taught how to drink responsibly have more issues with alcohol. If people are given the responsible title as an adult at 18, they should be allowed to make adult choices. Turning 18 entails receiving the rights and responsibilities of adulthood to vote, serve on juries, get married, sign contracts, join the military, which includes taking on the responsibility of life and death, and be prosecuted as adults. These privileges, along with many others, show that the United States believes people to be mature and responsible enough to be called adults at 18. Adults from the age of 18 should therefore also be trusted to make decisions about alcohol consumption. Setting the MLDA at 21 is unconstitutional because it is discrimination against the particular age group of 18 to 20-year-olds. The policy currently in place leads to teens to regard alcohol as the forbidden fruit. 18 to 21-year-olds do not cooperate with the existing law, therefore the current law is failing in terms of effectiveness. Another quote from Professor Ings says that although the legal purchase age is 21, a majority of young people under this age consume alcohol, and too many of them do so in an irresponsible manner. This is largely because drinking is seen by these youth as an enticing forbidden fruit, a badge of rebellion against authority, and a symbol of adulthood. Keeping the drinking age at 21 sends the wrong message that alcohol consumption represents maturity, which leads teens to want to consume alcohol to seem mature. Lowering the drinking age would help dispel this misconception. Enforcement of the existing policy fails because dorm rooms and private social gatherings are the new speakeasies. The combination of alcohol being the forbidden fruit and the unwillingness to comply with the current policy leads to underground drinking, which can be very dangerous. Prohibiting teens from drinking in bars, restaurants, and public locations has the effect of forcing them to drink in unsupervised places, such as fraternity house or house parties. When teens get hurt from alcohol-related injuries or accidents, they are sometimes afraid of seeking medical help for fear of legal consequences. In an interview on the television program 60 Minutes, they gave an example of one such incident. Gordy Bailey was a freshman at the University of Colorado in 2004. After being there for a few months, he underwent a fraternity initiation with 26 other pledges who were also underage. The pledges were asked to drink 10 gallons of hard alcohol and wine in half an hour. Gordy consumed approximately 15 to 20 shots. He ended up becoming incapacitated, so the fraternity brothers put him on the library couch and left him alone. Gordy lay there on the couch, passed out for 9 hours, until someone called 911 for help. Gordy died there alone in the fraternity house. This incident is just one of many other cases where if the drinking age had been 18 instead of 21, the kids would have called for help when Gordy passed out. Also, according to the former president of Middlebury College in Vermont, John Cardell, says the issue of enforceability is present, but the fact is it is so regularly and routinely avoided that enforcement results in 2 arrests or convictions for every 1,000 violations. Lowering the drinking age will reduce the amount of underage binge drinkers. Today we have nothing more than an age-specific prohibition. The fact that changing the policy to allow more freedom in drinking had substantial positive impact during Prohibition will likely lead to a dramatic decrease in total amount of alcohol consumed by young adults today. Another quote by Dr. Ruth Inge says, while fewer young people are drinking and their average consumption levels have been dropping along with that of the general population, more younger people tend to drink abusively when they do consume. This change occurred after the increase in the drinking age. Prohibition tended to destroy moderation and instead promoted great excess and abusive drinking. People tended to gulp alcohol in large quantities on those occasions when they couldn't obtain it. The notorious speakeasies didn't exist before Prohibition, when people could drink legally and leisurely. What we currently have is an age-specific prohibition, and young people are forced to create their own speakeasies in dorm rooms and other secret locations where they too must gulp their alcohol in absence of moderating social control. According to www.albany.edu, the consumption of alcohol in 1921, the beginning of Prohibition, fell below 0.3 gallons per capita consumption. But even though the consumption rate fell, the percent of total alcohol sales during that same time period skyrocketed from 40% to 90%. This shows that even though alcohol was outlawed, people were still buying and consuming alcohol even more than it was not allowed. With our age-specific prohibition today, teens are still buying and consuming alcohol because it is illegal, therefore they would not be drinking so much if they were allowed to consume alcohol. Overall, if the MLDA was lowered to 18, then we would not have to deal with issues such as irresponsible consumption of alcohol, adolescents getting injured from fear of getting caught with alcohol, or underage drinkers turning into binge drinkers.